She wasn't born into royalty. She didn't grow up with power, wealth, or influence. She was an orphan, a foreign girl, a nobody in the eyes of an empire. But God had a plan. Hidden in exile, living under the rule of the most powerful kingdom on earth, she was being positioned for a moment that would change history, not by accident, not by luck, but by divine purpose. Her name was Esther. And this isn't just the story of a queen. It's the story of how God saved an entire nation through the most unlikely hero. The Persian Empire stretched from India to Ethiopia. King Xerxes ruled over 127 provinces, commanding armies, wealth, and absolute authority. To display his greatness, he threw a legendary feast that lasted 180 days. Gold, wine, music, power, pride. The palace overflowed with excess. But when the king demanded Queen Vashti parade herself before drunken nobles, she refused. One act of courage cost her the crown, and that single decision opened a door no one could see coming. A search began for a new queen. Young women were gathered from every province. Among them was Esther, a Jewish orphan raised by her cousin Mordecai. Quiet, humble, faithful, and hiding her true identity. When Esther entered the palace, she stood out, not with arrogance but with grace. God placed favor on her. And when she stepped before the king, he chose her above all others. A girl with no power became queen of the greatest empire on earth. But her crown wasn't for comfort, it was for a crisis. Soon, a powerful official named Haman rose to authority. Blinded by pride and hatred, he plotted to destroy Mordecai. And when he discovered Mordecai was Jewish, his rage turned genocidal. A death decree was issued. On a single appointed day, every Jew across the empire, young and old, was to be killed. Panic spread. Mourning filled the streets. Hope seemed lost. Mordecai sent Esther a message. Do not think you will escape just because you live in the palace. If you stay silent, deliverance will come another way. But who knows if you were made queen for such a time as this? Approaching the king without invitation meant death. But Esther chose courage over fear. She called for a 3-day fast. She prayed, she prepared, and she walked toward possible execution. If I perish, I perish. When she entered the throne room, silence fell. The king lifted his golden scepter. Her life was spared. At her banquet, Esther revealed the truth, exposing Haman as the enemy behind the plot to destroy her people. The king's fury erupted. Haman was executed on the very gallows he built for Mordecai. The enemy fell into his own trap, and what was meant for destruction became deliverance. A new decree was issued. The Jews were allowed to defend themselves. The day of death became a day of victory. Mourning turned into celebration. Fear turned into triumph. And that miracle is still remembered today through the festival of Purim, a reminder that God can reverse any fate. The book of Esther never mentions God by name, but his fingerprints are everywhere, working in silence, moving behind the scenes, turning impossible situations into divine victories. And the message still stands. You are not where you are by accident. You are not unseen. You are not powerless. You may be positioned for such a time as this.